What are some things that pro players do that set them apart from amateurs? What are some things that you can do to take your playing to the next level? Stay tuned to find out. Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about what sets pros apart from amateurs. This is episode number 1 of a brand new series where in each episode I'll be breaking down aspects of your overall playing into bite-sized chunks to help you isolate your weaknesses and incorporate some new exercises into your practice routine. That was a mouthful. In this first episode, I'm going to be talking about playing the changes and what sets pros apart from amateurs. Now, the term playing changes makes a lot of sense because you're playing the chord changes. Oftentimes when you listen to a pro jazz solo, you could take out all the other band members and you'd still be able to figure out what the chord changes are. Even though this is something that is not necessarily always true, it is something to strive for. Here are 3 big things that pro players do when playing the changes that most amateurs don't. Number 1, most pros play the correct chord scales. This just means they're playing the correct scale that's associated with that chord. Now, if you don't know what a chord scale is, stick around because I'm going to explain this concept in more depth. Number 2, pros hit the chords at the right time. Sometimes when I hear amateurs playing, they'll be playing the chord at the wrong time. They might be dragging behind and they might resolve a measure late in their passage. This is something that pros don't do. They always know where they are in the form and they're always accurately reflecting what chords they are on. Sometimes you might get pros anticipating or delaying resolution for effect, but this is something that's very conscious and intentional. And number 3. Now this might sound a little bit like number 2, but it is actually different. When pros play, their resolutions land at the right time and in the right place. Now what this means is that the note that they land on is at exactly the right time. An amateur might be playing the hippest lick to have ever been licked. And if they don't land properly, it loses all of its power. It would be like a gymnast who does 5 flips in a row and lands flat on their face at the end. They're not going to get high marks. Now, I think all of these tendencies that pros have can be contained under one umbrella. Pros know what notes they're playing and when they're playing them. It's not a guessing game. Now I'm going to give you an example of a pro versus amateur on all 3 of these points. Now, before I forget, if you get any value out of this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. It is my goal here to build a very strong and supportive community here. These are some things that I didn't have when I grew up, and I'd like to give back and share what I've learned over my difficult and long 27 years. Now, let's dive into what I promised you earlier. What is a chord scale? Let me explain this by using an example. Let's say we're in the key of C major and the chord is F major 7. This is expressed by the notes F, A, C, and E. But where does the rest come in? When we continue to stack thirds above this chord, we get G, B, D, and finally F to make the full octave. We know these notes work because we're adhering to the notes in the key of C. With these notes, we can distribute them horizontally to create a chord scale. This one happens to be called F Lydian. This is a fairly common mode derived from the C major scale. If you are unfamiliar with modes, allow me to give a brief explanation. If you take a scale such as C major and start it from a different scale degree, you end up with different modes. There are 7 modes, like there are 7 notes in the major scale. I will play a short piece of music for each mode so you can get a feel for their unique characteristics. Notice that each mode contains the exact same notes, but yield surprisingly different moods. These modes are Over time and frequent exposure, you will remember the names, but for now I have a simple mnemonic device to help you remember their order. I don't play like Miles after lunch. I, Ionian, don't, Dorian, play, Phrygian, like, Lydian, Miles, Mixolydian, after, Aeolian, lunch, Locrian. It may seem overwhelming at first, learning all these things that you're not doing, but I promise you that if you pick one thing to work on and you get better at that, and then you pick the next thing, and then you pick the next thing, before you know it, you're going to have an arsenal of tools at your disposal, and you'll be playing the way that you've always dreamed of. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you got something out of it. If you have anything to add about this video or suggestions about any upcoming videos, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. And I will see you next time. Take care.